Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We start into Act 3 of King Lear today. We are in Act 3, Scene 1. And here's where things start to get really interesting in terms of the versions of this play. We're in Act 3, Scene 1 according to the folio and according to other versions. But in the folio, this scene is very short, and in other versions, it's much longer, and we start to diverge a little bit. King Lear is one of the plays that probably has the most significant differences between like the quartos and the folio and subsequent versions of the play, and they start to become obvious right around now in terms of if you know one version versus the other. So this is Kent, who is still like dressed in a disguise as a servant named Caius, and he's just talking to a random serving man. And just a quick recap of Act 2 Scene 2 / Act 2 Scene 4 that took place at Gloucester's place. Lear kind of flew off the handle when his daughters were like, you don't need any of the 100 men that you had with you before, like you can just use our servants. And he lost it and was like, you know, it doesn't matter why I need them, they're my men. And you can't logic that. And in the interim, like he curses his daughters left and right and up and down and all over the place, and storms out into a storm. So now there's lightning, there's thunder, there's winds, there's all kinds of storm stuff happening. And after he left Gloucester's place, Goneril and Regan and Albany and Cornwall were all sort of like, well, he's gone, and that's his own thing. And Gloucester was like, maybe we should let him in because it's really gross outside. And they're like, nope, he wanted to go, he's gone, so done. So they've pretty much all written him off at this point. So Act 3, Scene 1, we have Kent sort of like running into a serving man, and they're like, who's there? Is it a friend or a foe? And I sort of know you, and where's the king? And he's sort of out in the storm, and the only person with him is the fool, and that's probably not good. And Kent tells this serving man, sir, I do know you, and dare upon the warrant of my note commend a dear thing to you. There is division, although as yet the face of it is covered with mutual cunning, twixt Albany and Cornwall, who have, as who have not, that the great stars throned and set high, servants, who seem no less, which are to France the spies and speculations intelligent of our state. What hath been seen, either in snuffs and packings of the dukes, or the hard reign which both of them hath borne against the old kind king, or something deeper, whereof perchance these are but furnishings. And in the folio, that's it. That's the extent of the monologue. In the quarto, there's actually the serving man, or in lots of other versions, subsequent versions, the serving man actually has a monologue prior to this where he talks about like how icky the storm is and all that sort of thing. And in those versions, Kent goes on here to sort of pontificate on the sad state of Lear and that sort of thing. But what he's saying, the important thing to pull away from this monologue is that Albany and Cornwall, which it was rumored a little bit before that there was some tension between them, but now it's like an actual thing. Albany and Cornwall kind of sort of want to go to war with each other is what that comes to. And the fact that France is getting wind of this. So France knows that we're all fighting amongst ourselves over here, and that might not necessarily be a good thing. So it's a short little scene, and at the end of it, Kent gives a ring to this serving man and tells him to take the ring to Cordelia, who's married to France, because she will recognize the ring and she will know that it was Kent that sent it. So that's how he sort of reestablishes contact with her and makes sure that he can be in the loop, he can talk to her, all of that sort of stuff, because he's not quite sure what the plan is going to be yet, but he wants to stay in touch with Cordelia on this. So he gives his ring to the serving man to take to Cordelia to rebuild that connection, and then that's basically the end of Act 3, Scene 1 in either version. But it is interesting. I mean, if you're enjoying this Shakespeare stuff and you're curious about what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the folios versus other versions versus the quarto versus the blah 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 blah, pick up King Lear. And like I have an app on my phone that has all of Shakespeare's plays. It was a free app, and it's just called like Shakesyear or whatever. And it has each of the plays, and it has them broken down by scene, but then it also puts the whole folio text after it. So the text that's prior is sort of like the scholarly accepted text, but then you can see what the actual folio looks like, and you can make these comparisons and say, oh wow, between that time that was published and the time that was published, all of these revisions were made to it, and some people like to keep them in for this reason, and some people like to take them out for that reason. It's interesting stuff, at least to me. So anyway, yeah, that was Kent today, Act 3, Scene 1, and I will see you tomorrow for more as we delve further into the storm. I think, actually, let's take a real quick look. Is tomorrow about the storm? The interesting bit. Yeah, tomorrow's the storm. Tomorrow's going to be some very famous words. I will see you then for that. Mwah.